Hey guys. Hello, hello. This is Shelley Marenka with Inspired Living. And for those that are new to the group, I want to welcome you. I do lives almost every day, and Wednesday Night Live is always a special one because everyone's used to showing up on that time and that day. And just so you know, the lives are 7 p.m. Mountain Time, so that's 6 p.m. Pacific Time. And again, if you are new and you haven't ever joined the lives, welcome. I love it when you participate. Drop in the comments where you're tuning in from, and let me know if you have any questions. Sometimes I won't answer them right away, but at the end of the conversation, I will. So tonight's topic, thanks so much for joining in. Hey, Glenna, it's so great to see you. It's so great to see you. I love you showing up in the group. And anyway, tonight is about how to stop negative talk. And that's a really powerful topic because we all do it, right? Like, how many times do you correct yourself during the day? Right? And you have a reaction where you're talking badly. And it's like, oh, and I know I do that. It's like, oh, Shelley, why did you do that? And these kind of automatic responses become so habitual that we don't even know that we're doing it when we do it. And words are power, right? And there is power in the spoken word. It's even biblical. And the thing is that when we are not aware of the words that are coming out of our mouth, then we consciously cannot correct them, right? So awareness is the key to powering up your thoughts so that they're serving you. Because every word that comes out of your mouth, every thought that we think has power over us. And it's because our thoughts become actions, right? And the power of negative self-talk begins to have an effect on our self-esteem. It begins to have an effect on our self-image. And then we begin believing what we're telling ourselves. And, it's not your fault, because when you were growing up, how many times did someone that you know say something to you that had a huge impact, and you can still hear that voice in the back of your head, like, oh my gosh, why are you doing that? Or, oh my gosh, that's a huge mistake. Oh my gosh, you're stupid. The power of words have a huge impact on us, and they can be uplifting or they can be demeaning. And the words that we heard while we were growing up have a part of our story. And if we're still living our old story and we still have a lot of negative self-talk, what you want to ask yourself is, where's that coming from? But you also want to know, you need to be aware of that self-talk. You need to catch it as it comes out and address it and reframe it. And the power of negative self-talk can be changed because it's part of your subconscious, right? It's part of the old programming. It's part of self-limiting beliefs. It's part of, a habit that you've been telling yourself. You might look in the mirror and have really negative self-talk, like, oh my gosh, look how fat you are. Look at your hair. Look at, oh my gosh, you have wrinkles, you're getting older. There's all kinds of things that we tell ourselves that are not true. We all have stories. And there's something here I want to read to you about the stories that we tell ourselves, because we constantly do tell ourselves stories. And they're either a new story that we're replacing with an old story, or it's an old story that still has power over our life. So we can tell ourselves that we're too fat or we're too ugly. We tell ourselves these stories because they allow us to excuse our actions, and they allow us to pass off the responsibility for things that we have done. And it is past time. I think for you to stop telling that particular story and tell the story of yourself and what's true. And what's true about you is not the way that you're acting typically today. What's true about you is the God-given talent and the God-given gifts and the spirit within you that is true about you. And what we do is we end up wearing masks and wearing clothing that is not truly who we are. And the negative self-talk comes from, as I said earlier, from the things that we heard when we were growing up, the relationships that we had that weren't healthy, the opinions that other people had of us. And so one of the things that we can do to conquer negative self-talk is, number one, have awareness around it and catch it when we're speaking to ourselves. When we find that we're speaking to ourselves negatively, we need to realize that we're doing that and reframe that thought and reframe that conversation to something that's positive and instill a positive mindset. And we can do that through subconscious programming. And I want to talk to you about that in a minute. But there are times in our lives when we have to realize that our past is precisely that. It is behind us, and we cannot change it. But we can change the story that we tell ourselves. And by doing that, then we can change our future. But if we continue to live in the past and in our old stories, and we believe them because it's convenient, we believe them because we've created excuses, we believe them because it's comfortable, we believe them because there is strength in them, because that's what we know to be true and to be comfortable. But what I want to tell you is, it is not the truth about you, okay? God made you as an amazing human creature with God-given talents and unlimited potential, limitless potential. And what stops us typically is our self-talk. That, we're not good enough, that we can't accomplish that. That's for somebody else. That's for them, but that's not for me. If you ask yourself and you go deep, you can find out where that story's coming from. Like, I have an example. When I was growing up, I was told by someone who was really important to me that, you're stupid. If you don't know the answer to that, you're stupid. It had such a huge impact on me that I ended up carrying that around for a while. But the truth is that, you are not what people have told you you are. You are a powerful creature that can become anything you want. And when we become attached in unhealthy relationships, when we become part of codependent relationships, when we become part of a relationship where there's, alcoholism and personality disorders, that becomes trouble for us. Because if we're part of that and we accept what other people are telling us who we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to act, and we begin to lose our voice, it's time for you to realize that that is not who you are. And there are power in your words, and you can reframe your subconscious early in the morning and late at night and tell yourself words of positivity. Tell yourself the truth about who you are, and you can reprogram your thinking and stop the negative self-talk. And it all starts with the belief that you can learn. Because if you believe that you can learn, then the rest is just about taking action, right? But you have to be diligent about it, and you have to decide that you're going to start creating new habits and a new life for yourself and step into what you want. And it's difficult and challenging, yes, to change our limiting beliefs, but it can be done, and it takes consistency, and it takes time. And your words have power. They carry vibration, right? So if you're having these crazy thoughts and you have a lot of negativity and you're complaining all the time, what does that do to your vibration and your energy levels, right? It has a huge impact on you, and I want to share that with you. But what you can do right now is completely stop and ignore those negative thoughts and that negative mindset and that negative talk and the complaining, and stop and ignore what's showing up and create a brand new reality. So I want to give you an example. I have a vibration table here in front of me, and it talks about the current vibration of your energy. Like, we're all energy, right? We all have a spirit and we have a soul, and that's what goes to heaven when we leave this bodysuit. And that is pure, positive, limitless energy that knows nothing but potentiality and beauty and everything that lives on the high level of vibration. Your soul, when you came down here, was all about enlightenment and peace and joy and love, right? You look at a little baby, and reasoning, okay? Those are all really high on the vibration level. And when we own those feelings and we live in that energy, negativity, there's no place for it. And negative self-talk can't come from that place of enlightenment and joy and living on the scale of ultimate consciousness and expansiveness and flow. So for an example, when we are living in our ultimate consciousness and expansiveness of pure positive energy, on the scale of vibration, enlightenment's way up there, like 700. I forgot to set off do not disturb. If you're experiencing peace and joy and freedom and love, you're on a vibration level of somewhere between 700 and 400. And that's a really great place to be. If we want to feel good and feel positive and feel like we can do anything that we set our mind to, right? We're living at that higher level of vibration. But let me share with you where these other emotional feelings are that are really low on the vibration. And when we're in that level of currency and vibration, we're in a level of negativity, and we won't attract what we want because we attract who we're being. So if we're calling in negativity and say, oh, that's not for me, that's for somebody else, or, I'm not valuable, or I'm not worthy, or, I can't do that, I don't have what it takes, then you for sure will attract exactly what you're calling in. And so for an example, guilt is way down there on the level, and the number given to it is 30. Compare the level of vibration at 30 to peace all the way up at 600, all right? And guilt and shame and grief and fear are all in the level of suffering vibration. And I'll bet you could all name a handful of people that live in that suffering, like, that's not for me, life sucks, I can't do that, and they have all these excuses. Well, that's negative self-talk. And so you don't want to be in the vibration of suffering, and you don't even really want to be in the vibration of getting by. Getting by is, the number is about 250 to 150. Getting by, the emotions in getting by, the emotions that are common in that vibration range is anger and being prideful, and courage is in there, and neutrality is in there. And willingness begins to get a little bit higher. But if you want to live your life in flow and in alignment with your spirit and your potential and positivity and possibilities, you've got to elevate your vibration up to the point of where you're above getting by and into flow. And that's where acceptance and reasoning and love and joy live. And that's where expansiveness lives. So one of the things that I teach early on in my coaching program is about self-awareness and living a life on purpose. And we can't do that when we're living in a low energetic field of guilt and of shame and of limiting beliefs and in our past. And so many of us are living in our past. So we need to let go of limiting beliefs, rewrite a new story, and own it. And then you can live, an amazing life. But that just doesn't happen naturally. And nobody's ever taught you how to live that way. And it's not your fault. And so you're living in a programmed world of what you're familiar with, what you know, what you've been trained to. And these skills that I teach in my coaching program can elevate my clients from living in a state of guilt and shame and suffering and fear. Look at how much fear and anxiety is out there. Fear and anxiety rate at 100 or 75 on the vibration scale of 700. Look how low that is. It's like you want to pull a blanket over your eyes and just, hide under the blanket. So it takes work and tools and skills and strategies, and that's what I teach in my 90-day women's empowerment coaching program. And I love this because I can take women for where they're at and help them learn how to elevate their energy and the vibration, their thought and their mindset. Because, ladies, everything begins with the mindset. So if you're saying and telling yourself, I'm not worthy, I am not valuable, I am unhappy, I'm living an unfulfilled life, I am discouraged, I am anxious, I am fearful. Those are really disempowering words. And I'm going to give you some words here. So grab your pen and paper. If you're watching this post-broadcast, anyway, write it down. And do me a favor and comment below, what number you feel like you're living at. Or you could relate it to an emotion. Yeah, like, yes, I'm experiencing a lot of anxiety right now. I'm experiencing a lot of suffering right now. And how do I get out of that? And again, it's not your fault, but awareness is the beginning of enlightenment. Awareness is the beginning of taking your life back. Awareness is the beginning of self-empowerment. And so many other beautiful things fall underneath that when we step into a relationship with change and a growth mindset. Okay? And this is a perfect time to do it because the world is changing all around us. And if you're not changing with us, you're going to go down with the rest of them. And I don't believe that that's what you want. So you've got to stop those crazy thoughts and stop the complaining and stop the hating, about relationships and everything else and all that negativity, and go within and imagine a new reality. Where your darkest hours are within is where you bring the light in to shine on who you truly are, because it's very typical that you're living a life of who you think you're supposed to be, and you're not living a life of who you truly are within. So we have to do the work. We have to find out who we truly are and what our purpose is and how we're supposed to live our life in happiness and fulfillment and do what God has created us to do on this earth. So you want to be the I am worthy. I am valuable. I am prosperous. I am abundant. I am totally worthy and deserving of extreme wealth and an exceptional life. You could say I'm happily engaged in an intimate, loving partnership. And it all starts again with the belief that you can change your life. You have to believe that you can change your life. And you need to be able to visualize and see it. And when you state these affirmations, you are seeing your life as if it's happening right now. So whatever you want, you visualize that as happening right now and you own it. Because in your beliefs, you will attract it. You are telling your subconscious and you're telling your spirit and you're telling your mind, this is what I want in life and this is how I'm going to create it, and you visualize it because your subconscious doesn't know if you're truly at Disneyland or if you're just dreaming about being there. So self-empowerment, right, begins with self-belief in that you can have what you want, and you write it down and you verbalize it out loud, and your subconscious is most active in the morning and in the evening. So when you wake up in the morning, before you put your feet on the floor, you have your affirmation, your piece of paper in front of you that has all of your affirmations on what you want, right? And you recite them out loud, and you recite them with emotion. And you do the same thing before you go to bed. And I'm in the process of rewriting mine, because I rewrite them every couple of months because they need refreshing to come new. And so it's really important that you do this. And the most important thing is that you love yourself more, and you actively tell yourself that you can have these things and you can be these things. But it all begins with a mindset. And I discuss all of these things and more, and how they work together in my Braving the Wilderness 8-week group coaching program that is going to be in September. And if you want more information, just DM me. But I share with you how you can do this, and how you can believe in yourself more and attract more of what you want in your life with more speed, accuracy, and grace and ease. You can do it. You can absolutely stop negative self-talk by catching yourself when you're doing it and choosing words of affirmation. Like one of my posts today, go check out the post today. There was 3 of them, but I have a whole list, 10 words that are emotional words of inspiration. And what I teach my clients to do is I ask them to pick 3 words that make them feel alive, that they either want to feel like or step into. So if they're experiencing shame and apathy and guilt and fear, and those are words that they're attracting all day long, they want to replace those with higher level vibration words of higher emotion, like inspiration, like positivity, like enthusiasm, like passion, excitement, whatever it is that your core values relate to. And for me, it's like maximizing my potential, being enthusiastic, being inspiring, being positive, exuding potentiality, so I gave you 10 words, and there are many more that you can come up with to own that those words will resonate with your core values of who you are and who you want to become. So, you guys got any questions? Drop them in the comments below. Let me see what we've got here. So I'm going to be going live daily, and Wednesday night live is always at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Pacific, and I'm going to do my best to go live in the evenings. I may choose a couple mornings about 10 a.m. to just have some coffee with you. But if you like this video and you found value, give me a thumbs up. If you're watching it post-broadcast, you can still do that. Share it with others. I love that you're here. I love that you are part of women wanting more, because you deserve more, lovely. You can have more. And whatever is holding you back from living a life that you love, I want you to know that you can have it. And all you have to do is get some clarity around it. And that's what I'm going to be doing with Braving the Wilderness course. If you're someone who wants one-on-one, more intimate coaching, where we dive really deep and, develop skills and tools for empowerment and getting clarity around what you want, so that you can soar and have whatever that is, where you're no longer living, in neutrality or guilt or shame, but you're able to embrace the desires of your heart and fulfill the dreams that you have and that God has for your life. So thanks again for joining, and I'll see you tomorrow night. It's Tuesday night. And I'll see you again at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. I hope you join and you bring your friends. If you got any questions, drop them in the comments below. Love you guys, and thanks for joining me tonight. See you later.